All right, this problem number 5, we have 5 parts. We're basically going to be using one equation, and we're going to be solving using function notation. Okay, so we start out with the equation g of x, and they'll use different letters. The letter out front doesn't make a difference, but as long as you have that function that follows, everything will work out okay. So you'll see F, G, and H are the most commonly used letters to describe a function. Okay, so here's our first one. We're going to do g of 0. Okay, so how that works, just plug in 0 for x, everywhere you have an x. So 2 times 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 1. So 0 squared, you do order of operations, this is 0, and then 0 times 2, you just get 0. And then minus 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1. So your final answer is 1. Okay, 0 minus 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. So g of 0 is 1. We're going to go ahead and enter that. All right. Part B, we're going to be doing g of negative 1. So we're going to be plugging in negative 1 this time. And you square it first. So when you square a negative 1, it becomes positive. So this is positive 1 times 2 will just leave us with 2. Negative times a negative will give us a positive, so positive 2. And then plus 1 will give us 5. Okay, so g of negative 1 will correspond to 5. All right, part C, we're going to be doing g of 3. So we're going to be doing 2 and then 3 squared minus 2 times 3 plus 1. All right, so we would square 3, that will give us 9, times 2 will give us 18. And then 3 times 2 would give us 6, and then plus 1. So adding and subtracting these, we would end up with 13. So part C, we get 13. D, we're just going to be plugging in a variable, negative x. So we're going to be doing g of negative x equals 2 parentheses negative x squared minus 2 parentheses negative x plus 1. All right, here we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to square a negative x. So negative x times negative x would be a positive x squared. And then that's all we can do. So we get 2x squared. Negative times a negative will become a positive 2x, and then the positive 1 is not affected by the negative x. So this time we're left with an expression or an equation, a function. We can't simplify the x's. The only thing different from this expression and the original is that the minus 2x is now a positive. So we have 2x. I'm using the keyboard, so you do shift 6 to get that exponential part, and then plus 2x, and then plus 1. All right, and then last part is E. Part E. Here we're going to be plugging in a binomial term, so 1 minus t. So g of 1 minus t. So we have 2, 1 minus t quantity squared minus 2 times 1 minus t, and then plus 1. So we have a binomial. We have to FOIL this out. So I'm going to do that mentally. Bring down the 2, and then you square the first term. You multiply these two together. That will give you a negative 1t, but you double it because you have that term twice. So give us a negative 2t. And then you square the last term. So negative t squared will give us a positive t squared. Okay. So if you actually FOIL this out and you do 1 minus t times 1 minus t, you would get this. And you have to FOIL it out, otherwise you would miss that middle term. Most common mistake is to square both of them, and then we get 1 and positive t squared and miss this. So be careful. Either write it like this, or if you know that shortcut that I just explained, you can do that. Now we're going to distribute the negative 2 through. So minus 2, that's 2 times 1, and then negative times a negative will give us a positive 2t, and then plus 1. All right, and then 2 more steps and we'll be done. I'm going to distribute the 2 throughout here, and I'm going to combine like terms, and we'll be finished. So that will give us a 2 times negative 2 will be a negative 4t. 2 times positive t squared will give us a positive 2t squared. And then we just bring everything else down. And then I'm going to combine like terms and put this in order. So 2t squared is positive. It's its only term of its kind. So 2t squared. All right. Then there are terms with single t's. This minus 4t and a positive 2t. I will combine those two together. That will give us a negative 2t. And then we have the numbers. Positive 2, a negative 2, they will cancel each other out, and we'll be just left with a positive 1. So this will be our final answer. Looks pretty much the exact same as the original, except the variable has changed to t instead of x. Two t squared minus 2t plus 1.